Boom! Texas Longhorns strike in the portal. Texas gets a commitment from Cal, tight end transfer, Jack Endries, 56 catches, 623 yards, 2 touchdowns a year ago for the Cal Golden Bears. He's originally from Danville, California. That's up in Northern California, Monte Vista High School. He's a 2022 grad, played a little bit as a freshman, was a freshman All-American at Cal. And then last year just kind of exploded. 56 catches, 623 yards, 2 TDs, 6'4", 240 pounds. Gerry, Rod, what does this commitment mean for the Longhorns? Gerry, I'll start with you.
I mean, this portal season, the Texas GPA is going way up. I'll start there. You go Stanford, Cal, eat your heart out, Mac Brown, baby. Stanford, Cal guys coming to Texas. He is very much what this Texas offense needs, and I think he'll become a very good player, dependable tight end for Arch Manning, a guy that has a lot of experience.
Yeah, this is what really needs to happen, right, Rod? They needed somebody to fill this gap, and they go out and get Cal's leading receiver on the season from a year ago.
Yeah, he was a security blanket, but also a featured part of the passing game for them. So I saw a lot that I liked about his game. I'm with you. I mean, there are certain guys that move the chains and certain guys that change the game, right? This is a guy that can help you move the chains. He's got some run after the catch ability. He's got a little yak ability in him. But for the most part, they used him short to intermediate. They didn't necessarily stretch the field with him, but he was very dependable. I like actually the fact that you go look at his kind of overall, he actually has some great contested catch ability when he ended up in some tight window throws there. I thought he was great in the scramble drill. And I think this year you're actually going to need some receivers that can adjust really well in the scramble drill. But I just think the fact that he's got 2 years as a proven commodity, something you just don't have at tight end right now. And Sark said position is the second most important position in his offense behind quarterback. Those are his words. If that is the case, then, at best you're dealing with uncertainty and unproven commodities. And at worst, you could have a full-on problem area at tight end. This avoids that potential problem area issue. You got a proven commodity there. I think ultimately, and this buys you a little bit more time with development of some of those young guys that you're bringing in at tight end who may be able to contribute later on, but you don't have to depend on them to contribute right away for you. Ohio State game one.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it, right? Is what does this mean for Texas? I think it speaks volumes that the minute he goes in, Texas immediately goes after him.
Yep.
They clearly identified him early and wanted him to be part of this. He was ranked the number 2 ranked tight end by Pro Football Focus returning next year. That's ahead of Max Clare, who Texas thought about going after from Purdue, but ended up going to Ohio State. So this is a guy that's ranked pretty highly coming out. Certainly 2 productive seasons. Not only did Indiana want him, Oklahoma went really hard after him as well. So did Miami, as well as Alabama. So this is a guy that a lot of people wanted. I also would say this, 6'4", 240, he can be an inline guy, right? And I really think that's where Texas is maybe most concerned with their tight end at this point, because while they have Spencer Shannon there, they don't have one that can necessarily flex out the same. We'll see what this means, but I think it gives them 2 inline guys right away with Spencer Shannon and Jock Endries if they want to do that 2 tight end look that they like to do so much. A couple of those other things I had for you. What do y'all think it says about Texas being this aggressive in the portal this quickly? I mean, if they identified a need and they went out and got the Stanford wide receiver. We talked about Emmett Mosley. Now they go out and get a tight end. They address needs. Brandon Harris, Steve Sarkisian in the personnel department at the University of Texas address needs pretty darn well, Gerry.
Yeah, well, and what it tells you is they're really on top of the situations too, right? I mean, there's a situation in Cal between the GM and kind of a fight for control there, and it's leading the guys saying, "Man, we're out." And you have to be on top of your game. Your in-house department has to be on top of their game to be ready to strike when the iron's hot. And that's exactly what they did with Emmett Mosley, obviously, and now with Jack Endries. So, look, I think both of these guys, I'm going to combine these guys for a second. Arch Manning, while very talented, is still a first-year starting quarterback. So having Rod, we talked about this on Coffee and Football, Bobby and I did. I kind of compared Emmett Mosley in a way to Matthew Golden, not as a tester as far as the combine testing numbers go. But remember what we were told about Matthew Golden early on last year before the season? Most dependable guy. Quinn Ewers knew where he was going to be. He was going to catch the football. And with Emmett Mosley, you saw a guy that was very similar on tape, different skill set, maybe different size, maybe some different speed components, but the guy was sitting in zones. He made contested catches in the red zone where he had to adjust his body. He made key third down catches and moved the chains, knew where the chains were, got down, moved the chains. And now with Jack Endries, it's the same thing to me at the tight end position. So what Steve Sarkisian's doing is he's giving a very talented, still inexperienced quarterback, guys who are going to be in the right place at the right time and going to make Arch Manning's job easier next year.
Yep. So I can talk, at length about how young this team is, how inexperienced it is. You want to bring in some guys who have actually done it on the football field at a high level, to the point that Bobby was bringing up earlier about the in-line. He was a 38% in-line rate last season, about 41% in the slot. I saw him move around the H-back a little bit. Yeah. So he's versatile enough. Here's a concern, though, and it's actually something I think we've seen play out at the tight end position. Also something that Sark brings up about wide receiver, that he wants his wide receivers to learn every position. Therefore, it can be intellectually a little demanding, taxing on young players to learn all those positions, and then also want to see them achieve and ascend. At tight end, I know this. Texas tight ends move around, or at least their main tight end move around as much as any tight ends in the country. So that's a lot on your plate early on. Now, maybe it helps they're from Cal and Stanford, so those guys should be able to pick it up. Shouldn't be too much, demand on them intellectually. But to the point where, have we seen a tight end contribute early? Because of the fact that they move around so much, you got to learn so much. You got to learn the inline tight end. You got to learn the H. You got to learn the Y and all those kind of things. So I wonder, this might be the first time a tight end comes in and contributes right away. Man, we thought Amari Knobloch was going to be that. He wasn't. We thought Jaleel Billingsley would be that. He wasn't. It took J.T. Sanders a year to learn the position. It took Gunnar Helm had to sit a little while. We didn't see Juan Davis to his last year. This will be the first time that you actually need that tight end to contribute right away. Helps that he's got experience. How quickly can he learn the system? Because if he learns it fast, they're going to need him right away.
Right out of the gate. And by the way, a great thing for these two guys, they get shorter road trips. So congrats that they don't have to fly across America for games all season now.
That is so true. I will just say this. I think it's very telling. We can say what we want, whether he can, this offense is difficult or what. It's a pro style offense. He's going to have to learn it eventually, whether he's at Texas or in the NFL, because this is an NFL player, by the way, from everything that is ranked. People are saying that. The thing that I would say that's interesting to me as it relates to him and whether he shows up, how he shows up and able to produce, is I like the fact that Texas was aggressive and went after who they wanted and who they identified. Mm-hmm. To me, that speaks about how they're going to handle the portal and player attraction or recruitment in general. Texas is doing work behind the scenes that nobody's seeing, nobody's talking about. We thought that Texas might be interested in Jack Endries when we heard he might be going in the portal. But obviously Texas knew when he was going in the portal what that they wanted him. And to me, that's part of the process that is working for Texas right now. Not everybody has that. And I can tell you, you don't have it when you have a new personnel director every other year, or you have new people that have to, do all this other stuff and new coaches. Part of Steve Sarkisian's secret sauce, in my opinion, is that consistent building phase that we've talked about. They just keep building and keep adding, and that's so important.
And I'll say this too. This is these two pickups. I think really one of the strengths of these two guys so far. They both are probably 2-year guys.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there's a second piece to that. I mean, and maybe Endries has a great season and can try to go pro or something. But Emmett Mosley was a freshman last year. Endries a redshirt sophomore. Those guys have multiple years too. So these aren't guys that have just been brought in for the 1 year rental, so to speak. Now, if Endries has a great year and goes pro, that more power to him. But you're looking at two guys who have experience, one, but could be here multiple years, because you're planning for 2 years with Arch Manning before he goes pro.
Yep.
And
you're hoping
2 years. Yeah, he's definitely going to be there 2 years.
Yeah. All right, Rod. You have anything you want to end up with here before we say congratulations once more?
Just one thing, I've said it before, 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends is the most utilized personnel grouping behind 11 personnel. Last year, Texas played as much as they played 12 personnel since Sark has been here. So it's really popular. Right now, I don't know if they have 2 tight ends, let alone 1, but now we know they do have 1 guy they trust. Maybe Spencer Shannon's the other, or maybe it's one of these young guys. We feel a lot about Amari Winston. Maybe it's Nick Townsend when he comes in. It's going to be really interesting to see what plays out with the tight end position. But you're right, Bobby. They knew what we think we've known on the outside, that tight end could be a potential problem area this year. So I'm glad they found a contingency plan in the portal, and that's what Sark's about, finding those needs in the portal.
And not just this is my point, not just a contingency plan, but it can become a potential strength.
Yes.
Of the team.
Yes, sir.
Turning a difficult situation into a winning one is that's where the value, the delta of the difference can be really valuable to a team's offense. All right, that's going to do it for this edition. Congratulations again to Jack Endries, the newest Texas Longhorn. Jack, hook 'em horns, buddy.
Hook 'em.